Yeah.
From the Middle is a founding member of Odd Pods Media. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to episode number 329 of From the Middle. We are three middle class guys living in the middle of America in the middle chapters of our lives with points of view somewhere in the middle. In this episode, after last week's episode, Dylan wants to travel more, Corey wants to travel less, all our kids want to do all the summer camps, and we all really wanted to talk about what we're watching. We had a fun time this week, and we hope you love the episode. Check it out.
Oh, for the love. Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it? You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved.
From the Middle after dark over here.
Did you get some sun today, Kendall? You're looking a little.
Yeah, I did.
Do some fishing?
No, almost. Could have. We had a fifth grade picnic today. It was like most of their school day was at a local park.
Nice.
And there were more hot dogs than one could count. And somebody brought a lasagna. That's what I did. And all kinds of other things. And then, a park that has basketball courts and a baseball field and fishing ponds and things. And so Isaac had packed up a bag full of wiffle ball stuff for us to bring when we met their class there. And so we brought that. And then I also brought a couple fishing poles and my fishing stuff, just in case.
Yeah.
But there was no fishing.
Okay.
There's a lot of wiffle balling, though, which I must say, I have newfound respect for umpires in Little League games because I showed up and the rule, you had to cross the street to get to the wiffle ball field or the baseball fields and the basketball court. And so you needed to have an adult with you. And so the boys that wanted to go play wiffle ball, I volunteered to just walk them all over there. And then I end up umping for these kids. And I have not heard so many fifth grade boys whine so often at everything. There wasn't a ball that would get pitched. It didn't matter, ball or strike. Somebody was going to bitch and moan. It was just going to forget about calling outs and things like, I tagged him. I'm like, you clearly didn't. You got to be kidding me. I mean, you were 3 feet away, dude. You didn't tag him. He didn't touch the bag. Yeah, you're just saying that. He touched the bag. Shut up.
Don't you hate when you get sucked into operating on their level?
Yeah. No, I
You're
didn't.
I wish I would have been fishing.
I wish fishing would have been so much easier. No, it was cool. It was I had fun with them.
Sure.
With it all and would razz them a little bit. I pretend threw people out a couple times.
Did they pretend kick dirt on you?
They didn't pretend to kick dirt on me, nor did they really kick dirt on me, but they didn't appreciate some of my sarcasm, although some of the kids did. It was fun. Overall, it was a fun, good time. I don't think any of them hate me. But I think there might be a couple of them that might
that actually definitely talking to their parents right now about the mean guy at the school.
Probably. There were a couple of things that it didn't hit me. Okay, fine. It didn't hit you. I'm not getting paid.
That's funny.
I'm not your dad.
Yeah. But no, it was good.
Good. Well, Dylan, what's up? How's your day?
Good. Yeah, busy. Things are good. Nothing too crazy going on. Beautiful weather out. I've been trying to walk a little bit before it gets stupid Ohio hot. I take an adult to walk me across the road too. And the weather's been beautiful. I mean, it's mid-May and it's been 60s, 70s. Can't complain. Before you know it, it'll be like oppressive heat and humidity in Ohio. And it won't be fun to go outside anymore. So at least for me, I mean, normal people like to go
Yeah.
outside.
So
I
that
don't.
starts Monday.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward. Then it's like planning my mowing, no longer caring so much about how tall the grass is, but what's the coolest day in a given week that I can try to go mow becomes the name of the game at that point. So, yeah, it's good. Nothing too crazy.
Ohio summers are Kendall's Florida all the time.
Yeah.
I said that wrong. Dylan's Ohio summers are Kendall's Florida all the time.
There you go.
Yeah. And we talked about Costa Rica last week, and I don't remember if you guys asked us or not, or we talked about it or not, but somebody asked about the heat. And I was like, the weather was not where it was better than Ohio's like hottest summer days, like the most humid, where it was nicer than that. So I'm used to Ohio's worst, most humid days, and it was better. I enjoyed it more. So yeah, that's all that mattered.
Good.
Nice. I just got back from Chloe's track awards night at a local coffee shop, which was kind of a fun place to have it because it's a small school and they can do that. And there, she's wrapping up her season. We've still got districts and conference championships. They're trying to win the MoCal conference championships, but it was cool that the coaches seem to be really intentional with all their awards presentations. And because it's a small team, really know each kid. And so they had lovely things to say about Chloe. And so we're proud of her for another season of high school track, and excited to celebrate her as the year winds down. And then it's like spring is just so busy for kids events and wrapping up the school season. And so it'll be nice to go into summer and enjoy some evenings again as a family.
I know you love all of your kids equally and you enjoy watching them and all of their things. And they've all done a bunch of different things. But is there one activity, I won't ask what's your least favorite, but is there an activity that you enjoy watching the most, not as a dad, like not as, not as a dad, but as a dad, you know what I mean? Like
You're there because you're a dad.
but you enjoy it as a spectator the most.
Oh, I as a kid who loved playing t-ball, little league, baseball. I loved when Lily played softball. And you just set up your sports chair and you just smell the dirt, and it's just like you hunker down for a night of softball. I also really enjoy watching Case spar in martial arts when they put on the protective helmets and the chest protectors and they kind of go at it. Like that's kind of fun watching in karate. Basketball was fun there when Lily was in her upperclassmen years. I don't know. I kind of like it all, but probably softball the most, just because that's my own personal. It made me want to play baseball again. Like watching her play softball made me want to, or just find a buddy and like hit balls in an empty little league or softball field, because it makes you want to play again.
Yeah. And wasn't it Lily's final season got cut short a little bit between weather and an injury?
Yeah.
You know, that's the one you probably got to watch the least of in terms of a normal season, unfortunately.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, so that's that. I just got back from New York City. I was there the first half of this week, and it's my last gig for like a month. I have been running way too hot. I told Dylan and Dad the other day, there's been a lot of back-to-back travel, some international travel. I've lost count of how many times I've been to the West Coast, and I'm just being totally transparent. We were at church a few Sundays ago, and we're there, and like people are sitting down, and we do announcements first before you do any like singing or worship. And so they're doing the announcements, and tears just start running down my face. And I have no idea why. Nobody has said anything. There hasn't been like an emotional song or anything. And I'm like laughing because I don't know why this is happening. We come home. I get my comfies on for the rest of the Sunday. We're all sitting around the dinner table, and it's not stopping. I'm just like, it's just waterworks. And Sherry looks over like, you okay? And I think it was my indicator that like I'm just exhausted, that I've just been running too hot.
Yeah.
So I am excited to have um, no assignments for a little bit and for a more relaxed pace this summer, because there's 10 years of doing this type of work has shown me there is a seasonality to this type of work in consulting in the executive, corporate spaces. So it'll be nice to have a little break. So I'm kind of coming off of a lot of travel and excited to like catch up on some shows and podcasts and get some things done around the house. I tinkered in the garage on my motorcycle last night and got the headlight fixed and just put some music on in the background. And it's like, it's good to be home and wrapping up the school year for the kids and opening the pool and all the stuff. But yeah, it's been too much. But when you're a freelancer, you feel like
Strike while the iron's hot.
gotta strike while the iron's hot. And here's what I feel. God is trying to teach me not to get too serious, but like, what is the line between being responsible and fear? Like, there's got to be a really gray area between like, no, I'm just being a good business owner and like a good steward of opportunities and, income earner for my family. And now when am I doing things out of fear because I'm afraid the next gig might not come, or I got to set myself up for the whole year in April or by April, So that's kind of where I'm trying to like learn balance and how to fit life around what I know is a seasonal schedule. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at this first year of freelancing.
Well, and I don't think you've been at it long enough to probably be able to answer the question of like, even if like I have a basic goal of we need this much per year. How reliably, what parts of the year, like, what I'm saying? Your sample size is just kind of small to be able to answer that. So I think some healthy nervousness is okay.
Yeah. It's like if you're excused for being a workaholic, it would be the first year of starting a new business.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But that very excuse shouldn't be the thing that you fall back on when you're running too hot. You know what I mean? It's like,
right. Yeah.
There's even balance within that. So not to give TMI, but I know some folks are following along, and my decision to leave corporate America last year. And so appreciate all the thoughts and texts and messages and stuff. So that's kind of how it's going.
Yeah.
If you had coming out of that, knowing now you have a month off and you can take a break, no chores, no jobs, no whatever. What are like 2 or 3 things you're most excited to do? If like no one's home, you don't have anything to think about, you don't have travel plans, you don't have emails to check, you can just pick 2, 3, 4 things. You're like, I want to do this, and I want to do this, and I'm gonna do this. What's your list?
I did one of them today. It was like I had a nice walk with Sherry this morning on a little bike trail through our little town, and then we went to a coffee shop. So it was a nice slow morning after the kids were at school. She had work calls, and she's like, I'm going to be on calls for the rest of the afternoon. And I was like, so somebody just gave us a recliner for the basement, which is, now fixed up. It's a small one, so it doesn't take up much space. So I like kicked that sucker back, kick, and just caught up on some shows and podcasts. Had some healthy snacks, and just, I don't know how many hours I just sat in that recliner and just like felt international and domestic travel and stories and craziness melting off of me. It was so nice.
Do you ever get to the point in a day like that where you notice you're getting a little tired and you're like, I'm just gonna pause, I'm gonna nap for a little bit, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna hit play? Whenever, however, I know you call them nappuccinos. Whenever you're like, just have your little Red Bull or coffee and then doze off and then wake up.
It was so nice. Like, and then you have to do that thing where you're like, oh, where was I in this episode?
Mm-hmm.
And then scrub back a little bit to try to remember the last thing you saw. Not that the show wasn't good. You're just like those little cat naps. Oh man, it was amazing. It's nice and cool down there.
Yeah.
So good. So yeah, I'm excited for that. The second would be getting on the bike. I had a headlight thing I had to fix and troubleshoot, but yeah, just it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Spending time with the fam is the first answer, and then those two I
Yeah, no,
just
no. I specifically, the parameters were no one's home, no
yeah,
chores. I was taking away any responsibility to answer like a grown up.
yeah, yeah. So it'll be good. I'm excited, and I think somebody said it well. It's like figuring out if you know that's the rhythm of the business. How do you build your life around that? So how do you like enjoy your summer because you know it's slow, float in the pool, go have long lunches with people that can get off work and when you know it's slow during the holidays, don't feel bad, just enjoy. But hopefully you've stashed away enough acorns that you can enjoy without fretting. So
I heard
yeah.
the quote the other day, just because you can be doing more doesn't mean you should be.
Mm,
And so maybe you're living that right now a little bit. Like just enjoy it, lean into the time off.
yeah. Yep, all those things. So anyway, enough about me. That's it's just nice to like have wrapped up that last gig and been like, okay, there's not another one for a while. This is good. This is a good thing. Time to get caught up on the rest of life. So,
Word.
well, we heard all about Dylan's trip last time, which was very fun. If you didn't get a chance to listen to the last episode, it was really fun hearing about Dylan's trip and what it was like for a guy, middle class guy in the middle of America, in the middle chapters of life with points of view that fall somewhere in the middle, enjoying something that's a little not middle and a little more high end and fancy. So that was fun and sounded like we had a lot of streaming stuff to catch up on, but I don't want to jump right to that if we've got other fun stories from the week.
Well, did anything unique happen in New York? You sent some very nice food photos.
Oh,
You sent me pictures of things you thought were Bose speakers that weren't Bose speakers because you knew that I like Bose speakers. Hopefully you had
Bose.
a nice trip.
it was a good trip. A few fun things. Kendall's gonna make the joke about my New York friends, but like I'm so used to going to this one office, this one hotel. I'm getting very comfortable with LaGuardia and knowing what to expect. So it was a really quick in and out. I was there for like 48 hours. But one fun thing, this was kind of I sent you guys a picture and I put it on our Instagram a while back they had one of the Boston Dynamics dog robot things at this office. They've now replaced it with a humanoid looking one.
Hmm.
And it's, of course, there. It's mostly a demo that they're showing customers when they entertain. Um, the It was funny to be in the room next to where the robot is and hearing like clanking and thumping and somebody at one point goes, "Is that the robot?" and like annoyed.
Yeah.
And it just like it was one of those moments where you're like, "Oh, we live in a world now where we're doing work and like, is that the robot next door making all that racket?"
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of wild. But good to see some old friends and celebrate with a new steakhouse I hadn't been to in Manhattan called Benjamin Steakhouse, which was very, very nice. That's the picture that Dylan received. I try not to send too many of those, but it was a special night out, so that was kind of fun. And then back home the next day.
Nonsense. I want all the food photos.
I,
I enjoy.
I know it's typically a safe space for you, so
It's the best. It's the best kind of. Uh, um, my brain is blanking on the word jealous. It's the best kind of jealous. Like I'm not actually like angry, upset, jealous. It's like, oh man, that sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Please, I love to see the stuff that you're doing. So
yeah.
and more so the stuff you're eating. And I saw you were when I saw you were in New York, and I texted you. I was being very
Yeah.
silly, and I think I just because we share location over iPhone, and what did I say? How does it feel? And you said what? And I said being a miracle on 34th Street because you were on 34th Street, and it was so bad. But I'm sure you went oh and groaned. But then I
I
just
loved it. It made me chuckle. I was like, he doesn't normally send out of pocket non sequitur intros like that. So he's probably setting himself up for a joke, but I didn't catch it. It was great.
Well, it worked out great. And mostly my favorite part was after your very polite, like nice, kind of casual response. I just sent the Aziz Ansari from Parks and Rec like that face, like that. I knew it was silly and I didn't care. So good. I'm glad he had a nice trip. Super
Yeah.
fast.
Yep.
But
In and out. It is nice though when, this customer has offices in Seattle and New York. It's nice when I get the New York ones because it's a very easy trip.
it's awesome.
So enough about me. It's exhausting.
Yeah. So, Dylan, I wanted to ask you because I'm curious. You asked Corey about the favorite sport or event or thing that he had as a spectator. If you have, and maybe we've asked this before, and Finn is amazing, and anything that you get to see her do will be the best experience and will no doubt become your new answer if it changes. But what do you envision or hope or thinking, man, if Finn does that, that'd be really fun. That'd be really cool to go see and watch her do, or I kind of selfishly hope that she gets into this kind of music or theater or that sport or whatever, because that'd be fun to like hang out with her and like learn that with her in the backyard or whatever. What are your thoughts? Because I know when I was in your stage, especially like I was when the kids were starting to come into the age where like the Pee Wee leagues and things like that start showing up in your school flyers. And like I really started like envisioning some things. Oh man, I if I get a baseball player, that'd be awesome, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I've thought about that a little bit. I don't know that I have like a strong leaning towards I'd love to see her do insert thing. But like, we grew up in a pretty musical family. So if she learns an instrument or decides to get into music and shows and stuff, that'd be cool. I'd always enjoy going to see that. She's never expressed interest in soccer. She wants to try a soccer camp this summer. I enjoy soccer. Not that it's impossible for a girl to play football, but it's highly unlikely. Most school-aged girls are playing football, so I don't expect that to happen, which is fine. She wants to do basketball camp again. So I think, and she still likes volleyball, but I'm Bree would love her to keep doing volleyball because that's what she enjoyed playing. So I think like anything music, soccer, I enjoy watching basketball, so I'm good with that too. Um, but we'll see. I feel like music's a thing kids tend to pick up a little later unless they're already playing an instrument at a really young age. So
Yeah,
that
unless
might
they're doing
still
like
come.
piano lessons or something like that. For most kids, that's like that kind of starts at middle school ish,
Yeah.
late
Yeah.
elementary.
I'm not upset about soccer. If she enjoys soccer, I played it as a kid more than probably any other sport, and I enjoyed it. So,
Yeah.
and still enjoy it. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how soccer goes. She likes to run, actually. I don't know if she'll want to do track eventually, but she always says she likes running. So we'll see. Maybe soccer is the balance of like something with a ball that's not straight running, but lets her run a lot. So
Yeah, it's like I've never thought outside of sports much, which is funny because I was a music kid, right? And well, I'm a music adult too, right? But when Lydia came out of left field, was not expecting it, her asking if she could try basketball, like I immediately was like, oh, I never thought of that, because like I was playing like pickup basketball, like open gym stuff and church league stuff for years, and like I love basketball, played as a kid, and not as much as baseball, but I love basketball, and basketball is such an easy thing to like do at home, and it's an easy thing to like have some fun at home very casually. And so like I was super excited about that. Her basketball days I think are behind her now, but I was really excited about that. But this year, we decided as a family plus a couple of friends of Lydia's, we went and saw the local Gahanna high school musical, which was Grease this year. And that was so much fun. That brought back memories for me. And like watching Lydia and then hearing Lydia and her friends talk about it. And like Lydia's like full bore musical theater kind of thing. I'm like, oh, that'd be so fun to like, I can just see Lydia up there playing Sandy. Like that would be. And
I
so
love
then
that.
like we went to, there's a private school where their middle school did Annie Jr. As a musical, which was so cute and fun to watch. We had friends who their daughter was actually Annie. And so like, it was cool to go and watch her do that. But then like, that was another musical experience that we had with middle schoolers. And man, Lydia is just taken by the whole idea of musical theater. And now like, that's a new one for me. It's like, I can't wait for the day.
Yeah.
That'll be so cool.
That's awesome. Well, that partially answers the question of things you'd be excited to watch. Probably in baseball as well, is presumably your other answer.
Yeah, baseball. And see, it changed. Baseball was the only thing on my mind as a married man before kids. And then when kids are too little to even be thinking about where they might be going with school and extracurriculars and that kind of thing, baseball was the only thing on my mind. Like I love baseball. I love playing baseball. I could see myself teaching baseball. Like that'd be awesome. But yeah, it has kind of changed over the years to like now Isaac is going to do a football camp and he's going to play football for the first time in the fall. And he's all excited about doing that. He's foregoing the fall baseball season to do that. And so now I'm thinking about that, like how cool football's going to be. And I played football too. And he's like, he's a big kid, right? And so I'm thinking interior lineman, which is what I did on both sides of the ball. And like, man, I could teach him some stuff, teach him how to swim move. Like it'll be cool. It'll be cool. We'll see how it goes.
That's awesome. Speaking of sports, Kendall, I thought of you when I left LaGuardia because as we were taxiing to the runway, I saw the Detroit Tigers and Red Wings jet that they share.
Ooh.
And so on the tail, it's the Tigers and Red Wings logo. And I tried to snap a picture, but we turned right at that moment. But I was like thinking of you, man. And
yeah. They were on their way back from a loss.
Not to rub it in.
More than likely. They're tanking this year, it seems.
Well, so you know who's not tanking? Our friends in Odd Pods Media that you're going to hear from right now.
Hey there. I'm Dave, the host of Beer in Front. Sometimes the beer in front of you is the best one yet. I'll talk about some old school beers that maybe you've forgotten about, some new beers that have the potential to be a classic. I'll also talk to various people around the beer world and get their stories all about beer. That's Beer in Front, and it's available on all of your favorite podcast apps.
If you like fun, then you're going to love the Beard Owl podcast. It's a podcast where we talk about two of the greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al. And frankly, we talk more about Weird Al than anything because he's the gift that keeps on giving. So join us as we talk through Weird Al's career, what he means to us, and we have some very special guests on to discuss the magic that is Alfred Matthew Yankovic. Weird Al, part of the Odd Pods Media Network.
I didn't know that two Detroit teams shared a plane, but I guess that makes sense. That's cool that they do that. I wonder what other teams do that. Share fields, share planes.
There's a lot of sharing going on in the sports world.
I'm going to look it up.
I mean, you have NFL teams sharing stadiums. Like that's a thing. And I guess it wouldn't matter, but the Red Wings and the Tigers their stadiums are right next to each other. They're owned by the same person. The captain of Little Caesars himself.
Oh yeah. I Googled it and I said share fields, planes, or venues. NFL teams sharing stadiums, the Jets and Giants, Rams and Chargers. NHL, NBA teams sharing arenas,
Hmm.
Lakers, Clippers, Kings, Knicks, and Rangers.
Detroit as well.
And then yeah, and others in Detroit, Toronto, Denver, Washington, Dallas, shared soccer football venues. MLS teams frequently share stadiums with NFL teams, including sites in Atlanta, Charlotte, and Seattle.
Yeah, Chicago's another one
Yeah, there you go.
for now.
There you go. Anyways,
There's a lot of
speaking
that.
of, where are we at in sports worlds? Are you watching anything right now, sports wise?
NBA playoffs are going on currently. NHL playoffs are going on as well, but I've kind of dropped off on that. Um, NBA are in their conference semifinals at the moment. The Lakers just went down; they got swept out. Um, which they're aging. A lot of people are looking at that. It's they're a situation now where their best player was not playing. He's hurt, and their best player, by the way, is no longer LeBron James. So LeBron James is kind of like the token veteran guy who still contributes, but nobody's looking at him for MVP trophies anymore.
You mean
and
it's not Bronny?
it's not Bronny.
Bronny's not going to take over the mantle?
That's not happening. They tried to force it. It's not working out.
Yeah.
And then the Pistons and the Cavaliers are in just a slugfest against each other right now. So they're heading into Game 6, I think, tomorrow, later this week. Or yeah, Game 6. So they're at 3-2 at the moment in favor of Cleveland.
There you go. That's kind of nice that they're so close. Like that's got to be like good turnout for both teams. Not that it wouldn't anyways, I guess, but
Yeah.
that's got to be especially good that no one has to go too crazy far to.
Oh yeah, and you can tell watching it live. Like there's plenty of the opposing team fans there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Sherry had to fill me in on what teams were still in because I don't care about the NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, casual observer is how I would describe my NBA watching.
Loyal listeners will know that Sherry is my insider to most sports stuff.
Yeah, sort of the big story there right now. I think that the theme of these playoffs is that everybody expects the Thunder are going to be champions when all is said and done, and but they're all absolutely annoyed with the Thunder because they're just a flop fest watching them play, and they're getting fouls called that probably shouldn't be because they are notorious at flopping. So a lot of talking heads talking about how the OK City Thunder are single-handedly ruining the NBA and making people not want to watch anymore because the flopping has gotten that bad.
Is there anything that can be done about that, or a change to the letter of the rules so that it makes that harder?
They can start calling it more.
Like so you can get called for flopping.
You can, so they can decide to not call the foul because of a flop, and they can decide to fine and I think suspend even for excessive flopping. But the NBA hasn't begun taking that seriously enough. There are some sports, I thought basketball was one of them, but maybe apparently not, where flopping is an actual, definitely not in soccer, but where flopping is an actual penalty. And hockey, that's a 2-minute penalty. And it's one of the things I've always appreciated about hockey is hockey, I feel like, is a sport where they give the referees a lot more autonomy to make subjective calls. Like, it's like, I think you were flopping and therefore that's a 2-minute penalty. It's that simple. Like all of us around here know what happened. We don't need a replay. Even if we did replay, we all know what happened. Like, yeah, you got touched, but then you did this.
Yeah.
So 2 minutes for you, sir.
My overinflated sense of justice gets very upset when teams take advantage of loopholes like that. Like the most famous to me in like football is when an offense is like really advancing and the defense is getting tired. So one of their players will just pretend to get hurt
Oh,
and take up time so that the defense can get a breather and like, but everybody knows and they start booing. But then it's like you can't really tell a guy that he's not hurt.
yeah.
That's hard to call into question in real time, but you know that it's a strategy. Like anytime
Right.
there's those things in sports where it's like they're clearly taking advantage of something.
Yeah. It's just unsportsmanlike. And that's the thing that like soccer, I've always felt soccer needs to clean that up.
Yeah.
I think soccer would get a lot more respect if they got that out of the game.
Yeah.
But
Same problem with these wiffle ball kids. Just making up,
exactly. I tell you what,
making up all kinds of stuff.
So many
got 'em.
floppers.
Yeah, you should have just started doing 2-minute timeouts. Just like
I should have.
you're out. One less guy on the field, the diamond.
I should have.
There you go. I think unless there's more sports, I know UFL is on. Columbus is still not doing well. I had a handful of things that I've been watching. Corey, you have a handful of things you've been watching. Kendall might have more things he's been watching. And it's been so long since we've talked about what we're watching. We probably could jump through some of these.
Let's do a round because I've got some that I'm pretty stoked about. Like some that I've heard myself recommending to a handful of people. And I'm like, wow, I might really be into this show. I've now recommended it to a dozen people. So yeah, let's get at it.
Natural segue. Kendall, anything else other than sports you've been watching?
Not yet. I mean, we're going on vacation. Not next week, the week after, and we want to watch The Mandalorian, and so we re-upped our Disney Plus subscription so we can catch up / rewatch heading into that.
Into the movie. Yeah.
Into the movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's on my watch list in theaters on the 22nd, I think. So, yep, right there with you.
Perfect segue. Speaking of The Mandalorian, the big Gina Carano Ronda Rousey fight taking place live on Netflix this Saturday. So if you're into MMA, it's not UFC. It's another what do they call it? Not card. It's another venue, not venue. It's another program. But Gina Carano and Ronda Rousey are fighting for the first time in like 10 years. It's probably overhyped. It might be a garbage fight, but I'm still going to watch. It'll be exciting to see. They've done a lot of cool marketing for it. So
if there's not an arm bar, I want my money back.
That's right.
Netflix live event. Just grab your B-dubs on the way to your TV, and
that's right.
You can check it out. Yeah, I saw that was coming. I don't pay a ton to like the live, sports on whatever various streaming apps because I don't have every streaming app, so I can ignore most of them. But I did notice that one was coming, which is kind of cool. Let's see. I can go into some of mine real quick. So things that I'm still watching, and I already alluded to Mandalorian's coming. Got to finish up Daredevil. Got to finish up Maul. We were still watching through Modern Family, which is great. I think we're in season 6 now ish. There's a new Punisher special on Disney Plus. I got to check that out because Spider-Man Brand New Day is coming. And I guess Punisher is in the new Spider-Man movie. And so this kind of tees up what's happening to Punisher right before the new Spider-Man movie. So there's that. But on the trip, a couple movies that are not superheroes or Star Wars that I watched. Rental Family with Brendan Fraser, which American actor living in Japan gets hired by an agency to basically act for people in their private lives. So they need somebody to fill a role in their life as a person, show up at a funeral for somebody, be a friend to somebody. That was really kind of a weird, quirky plot, but I enjoyed it mostly because Brendan Fraser still seems to be one of those Hollywood good guys in what's probably a short list of people that feel like undeniable good guys, at least in this moment. Not that I'm hoping anything bad happens, but stuff changes. So Brendan Fraser did really nice. It was an interesting movie. Glad I watched it. You can check that one out. Also watched A Man Called Ove. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Ove, whatever. Tom Hanks did a remake of A Man Called Ove called A Man Called Otto. and A Man Called Otto was good, but much more of a comedy drama. A Man Called Ove is much more of a drama. You can tell they used Tom Hanks to kind of sell a happier version of the same movie. I did like the original better, which is A Man Called Ove, now that I've seen it. A little darker, better film overall, but really liked them both. So if you want a happier version, watch A Man Called Otto. But grumpy old guy, his spouse has passed away, and he's living his life as this sort of curmudgeon in his neighborhood. So happier version, Tom Hanks. You don't care about the happier version, watch the original. Both were good. And then I also watched The Last Rifleman with Pierce Brosnan, who they aged up a little bit and with makeup or prosthetics or CGI, I don't know, probably makeup. And he is a Northern Irish former World War II veteran who has never really done any of this sort of like go back to D-Day where he fought to like, memorialize what had happened, but he finally wants to do that. And he's in like a retirement home and he sort of breaks out to be able to go back to D-Day and sort of let himself relive some of, what he lived through in the past. And so my favorite of those three is probably A Man Called Ove, and then Rental Family, then The Last Rifleman. But I'm never upset about a decent World War II era themed movie. And so if you like Pierce Brosnan, check out The Last Rifleman. All were worth watching, though.
All right. Sweet.
Go for it, Corey.
Speaking of plane movies, I watched Is This Thing On one of my flights. It is a Bradley Cooper directed film. He also acts in it, but not in the main role. It's Will Arnett and Laura Dern. The movie opens with Will Arnett at like a kid's school event, and he's like clearly unhappy. And then it cuts to them sort of like brushing their teeth in their master bathroom that night. And she kind of glances over at him and says, like, should we call it like their marriage? And you're like, dang, this is opening up pretty real. They decide to separate. They tell their two sons. And then he pursues a career in stand-up that he's always wanted to do. And she starts pursuing a career as a Olympic volleyball coach. And when Will Arnett goes off in the movie to start doing stand-up, he's performing mainly at the Comedy Cellar, where I try to go every time I'm in New York, and ends up kind of flirting with Jordan Jensen, the comedian that I love seeing when I'm out there. I'd heard her talking about it on podcasts that she was in this Bradley Cooper, Will Arnett movie. So they're separated and they're each pursuing these loves. So you see them start to like get happier in life. In one scene, Laura Dern's character says that she's going to meet up with an old friend who might have a lead on a coaching opportunity. The old friend is played by Peyton Manning, and they have this dinner where Peyton doesn't know that she's recently separated, but they always had a thing for each other. So they start like flirting, and then Peyton says, "Are you tired?" And she's like, "No." So they decide to go out to another place after dinner, which is the Comedy Cellar. So they end up at the Comedy Cellar, sitting in the same booth I usually sit in, and watching Will Arnett deliver material making fun of his relationship with his wife, who is now in the audience. But the strange thing happens where he admits that he had been intimate with Jordan Jensen's character in the interim, and says that, after 20 years of being with my wife and like being with somebody else, it felt really scary, and it made me miss my wife. And he starts getting like really vulnerable and honest about like how this interaction has just made him miss his wife more. So then he gets done with his set and he goes off, and some of the other comics are like, "Dude, your wife was here." And he's like, "What?" So he meets her in the alley and they're kind of yelling at each other. And I'm not giving away the whole movie, I promise. This all happens pretty early, but she's like yelling at him, and then in one sentence she kind of pivots and she admits that it was like kind of hot seeing him in his element, and like talking about how much. So then they hook up that night. but then they feel like they have to keep it secret because they've now told their friends and their kids that they're separated. So now it's like a love story, but it's like they have passion again, and so they're trying to like date each other again, all under the guise of no, we're separating. So it's like
Wow.
it's really sweet and surprisingly sweet and funny, and it was so cool to see so much of it shot. There's so many comics in it. So it was fun that it was stand up. It's fun that it's The Cellar. It was very sweet. I won't say how it ends, but like one of those movies that you just think, oh, this is just an airplane movie, and then surprises you because it's so good and like heartfelt. So that was really cool. It's on Disney Plus and Hulu. I'm a big Love on the Spectrum fan. Season 4 is streaming now on Netflix. It features a lot of Connor. Who, if you've listened on the podcast, I'm a big fan of, and sent him some fan art that his mom gave to him on his birthday and FaceTimed me of him receiving it. So that was really cool to see. Sherry and I really enjoyed watching this latest season of that. Have you guys seen This Is a Gardening Show on Netflix with Zach Galifianakis? Have you seen the trailer?
Just the trailer. Yeah, just the trailer.
They're super short episodes. He's like, it's half serious in that he's trying to get more people interested in gardening and growing their own foods. But it's all just him being goofy and comedic. But he's also interviewing like real like farmers and trying to do some education. But he like brings kids on as though he's like having conversations with them. And Kendall, when you were telling your like wiffle ball story, it reminds me of how he talked to some of the kids where he's like half making fun of them to their faces, but like also getting their like kids say the darndest things reactions to his wackiness.
Yeah.
So Sherry was like, this is perfect because it's like your love of, non sequitur, weird, goofy stand-up comedy and my love of gardening, but they're like 12-minute episodes. Like they're super short, and like one whole episode is on apples and the next whole episode is on tomatoes. And I think there's only a handful of episodes. So that's kind of fun if that sounds like it's up your alley. But the one I'm most stoked about right now is by Vince Gilligan, who was the producer of one of my favorite shows of all time, Breaking Bad, and another show that I never watched, which was a spinoff, Better Call Saul. So this new show is on Apple TV Plus. It came out like a year or two ago, actually. But it's Apple TV Plus. It's called Pluribus. Here's the premise of that one. There's a like astronomer guy like holding like a late night shift in some little facility surrounded by gigantic satellite dishes when he thinks he gets like some weird staticky thing from space. It's kind of cliche, but he like calls a friend in the room. He puts the cans on and he's trying to see if this is something. Cuts to a montage of like all these scientists coming in to try to make sense of what this like message that they receive might be, when they deduce that it's basically a recipe, or it's like 4 ingredients. That seems to be how they translate the message. Then it cuts to a bunch of scientists and lab technicians that are now trying to make this 4-part recipe, in air quotes, that they heard from space. So it's a montage of like beakers and syringes and the little centrifuge thing, and they're in the lab and they're trying to figure it out. And all these other scientists come in, and then there's a wall of these rats in glass cages that they're like testing. And one of the rats seems to have died. When the scientist pulls down the front of the cage and reaches in and grabs the rat and is trying to like resuscitate it, takes her glove off, it bites her. She then does this weird like trembling thing and then goes back to normal with a smile on her face. So then she like kisses her lab technician. This whole show is like a dry comedy where she like kisses her fellow lab tech. He does the trembly thing and then like stands up straight and smiles. Then it cuts to these soldiers and government people swabbing the inside of their mouths and putting them in the food supply. So basically, they're on purpose now. The message from space, they're on purpose now trying to get this thing spread, when you basically learn that it's hive mind. So every person infected by this thing is like it's hive mind. But to everybody else, of which on the entire planet there's only 13 people. It looks like the world just ended. And then one day, everybody just goes back to normal as though nothing happened and goes back to mowing their lawn. And this whole show takes place. Rhea Seehorn was is the actress. She was in Better Call Saul. I didn't watch it, so I didn't know. In the show, her name's Carol. Everybody's like trembling on the ground, and then they all just go like, "Hello, Carol," and like he's like, what just happened? Like cars are crashing, planes falling out of the sky. She's now, the whole premise of the show is she's trying to learn what just happened, find the other 12 people, and see if we can get humanity back to normal while the hive mind people are trying to convince her that she needs to come to their side and why it's better. So the whole show is themes of like consent and like groupthink and whatever. But it's a slow burn. It's beautiful shots in true Better Call Saul style. It takes place in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So lots of vast, beautiful desert scenes. And it's so good. It is so, so good. The only problem is, and we've talked about this before, there's only one episode. And the next season doesn't come out until like 2028. Possibly late 27.
Jeez.
And it's like the whole, well, Vince Gilligan really wants to take his time and he's putting quality over speed. So, and it's like, oh no, this is like a whole, this is what they did with, now different reasons, but this is what they did with Severance, but there was COVID in between and blah, blah, blah. But you're like, I can't wait a whole. So maybe it's like one of those wait until season 2 is just around the corner and then you guys might want to watch it. But I like lots of podcasters I'm listening to are talking about how intriguing this show is and how like artful and fun it is. So it's like calling it sci-fi in spite of the premise feels wrong. It's more like dry comedy. I don't even know, but doesn't feel sci-fi even though the premise is sci-fi. It's more about like human psychology and yeah.
Yeah. Does the first season at least like end in a way that kind of makes sense for it to be an ending for a while? Like, because like Severance did, right?
Yeah.
Severance was ended and it was like, okay, that'd be fine if that was it. I mean, I would like more. I would like them to do this again, but like the
Andrew Santino was just saying on his podcast that he really hated the ending. Because for a different reason, though, I feel like it wraps up good enough.
Okay.
That it's not like cliffhangery, but it like wraps up in a way that some argued the plot point. It was a little bit of a plot gap, but it's not like it wraps up fine enough. If it were a movie,
okay.
If the 9 episodes were a movie, you'd be like, oh, that's a fun, open-ended, open to your interpretation type of an
right.
end.
Yeah.
And
okay.
what might happen next, but not like a, super edge of your seat, suspenseful. What's gonna happen? Where you're frustrated.
Yeah. So that's good at the very least.
At the very least.
So many of these things now they hook you at the end of season 1 by like they don't resolve anything. They just have like a giant reveal of some sort, and then boom, you're waiting until the next season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I at least appreciate that.
Yeah. And then because I was in like a sci-fi-esque or sci-fi adjacent mood, I switched over to Foundation on Apple TV Plus, which has Jared Harris in it, who I really like. And it's another sci-fi thing that sort of gives Star Wars. But I'm only in episode 3 of season 1, and there's a lot of world building going on. So I'm having to talk to ChatGPT to try to understand like all of because it jumps through time and you're like, wait a minute. So, and it also doesn't help that there's empire run by this lineage of kings, which the lineage of kings is basically just a clone of himself. But at any one time, there's 3 or 4 versions of him alive. So they call each other Brother Dawn, Brother Day, Brother Dusk, and Brother whatever. But it's all the same guy. So there's like, it's because he's a clone. So you're trying to, because they all look the same. So you're like, wait, is is he the other version of Brother Day in a different time? Like, so it's a little hard to keep up with, but I'm really enjoying it so far. It's pretty immersive sets and was recommended by some friends. So Foundation is the last one.
So of all of those things that you just talked about, what's your favorite and what's your least favorite? And they're all
Pluribus for sure. Like, I think people should give Pluribus a chance if you can wait a year, for a year or more for season 2. Is This Thing On really surprised me? So but I gotta show love to Love on the Spectrum. Foundation is probably the least strong. So far, but I'm only 3 episodes in.
Hey Siri, set a reminder to watch Pluribus in 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, that's what's up. And then I'll let you know what I thought of the Rousey Carano fight this weekend.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fun. Take us out, one of you.
If you've never heard us say this before, you might have just started listening, or you never make it past the first 5 minutes. But if you're here now, head over to artiusman.com. That's ARTIUSMAN.com. Use promo code The Middle. They sell lots of great, like, men's grooming, beards, bathroom type products. Use promo code The Middle. You'll save 25% off your first order. It's great for them. They're a small local business here in Central Ohio, but they make awesome stuff. You'll get awesome stuff. It's good for you. It's good for them. It's good for us. They have lots of great things you can try out, and we definitely recommend it. They're fantastic friends of the show. So head over to artiusman.com, ARTIUSMAN.com, promo code The Middle, save 25% off, and we think you're going to love everything that you get from them. I think that's it. So thank you for listening. Tune in next time. Peace.